Hello dear students, in the next video we are going to start our GI secretions wherein we will be discussing about the peptic ulcer disease along with gastroesophageal reflux disorder also. But GI secretion as such multiple secretions are there, so we are going to split up the videos. In this first video we will be primarily concentrating on the salivary secretion, then we will be discussing about the gastric secretion in a separate video along with the peptic ulcer disease and gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Then finally in the third video we are going to discuss on the pancreatic, biliary and intestinal secretions. So without any further delay, let's get into the topic, that is the GI secretions. So first, an overview of all the secretions. The saliva that is secreted, it is around 1 to 1.5 liters per day, and saliva is the only secretion where it is always hypotonic. Please remember this can be asked in multiple choice question also. It is the only secretion which is always hypotonic. Then the gastric secretion, the secretion amount is around 1.5 liters per day and it is highly acidic. The pH is around 1 to 3.5. It is extremely acidic, but still the GI mucosa is protected, which we will try to understand in the gastric secretions. Then the pancreatic secretion is around 1 liter. Then the biliary secretion is also around 1 liter. Then the small intestine secretion is around 1.8 liter. And there is a special gland which is Brunner's gland, which does a secretion of 200 ml, but the pH of this one is 8 to 8.9. The pancreatic secretion is also mostly alkaline, but the Brunner's secretion is much more alkaline than a pancreatic secretion. So if they ask you which gland secretes most alkaline, then go for pancreas, but they ask you in general and Brunner's is given in the option, then go for Brunner, because the Brunner's is much more alkaline than a pancreatic. And acidic, obviously it is a gastric secretion. In large intestine, around 200 ml secretion is happening. So how we are going to talk about these secretions is, first we will try to understand what are the various phases of secretion, when they are getting secreted. So that will be one of the headings. And next we will discuss about what are the different constituents of that particular secretion. So this is a general template which we will be following for all the secretion. What are the constituents of the secretion and what are their functions, and how the secretion is being regulated, by which hormones or glands, or how it is being regulated. So let's get the topic for today, that is salivary secretion. The salivary secretion is secreted by the salivary glands, which all of you might be knowing, the parotid, the submandibular and the sublingual. The parotid is the largest gland and it is the one which secretes the serous type of secretion. Serous means it is the proteinaceous type. Lots of protein will be there. Proteinous type of secretion is secreted by parotid. But maximum in quantity, it is being secreted by the submandibular. Both the submandibular as well as sublingual, they produce a lot of mucus secretion or watery secretion which is present in the salivary secretion. And saliva, already I told you, it is an hypotonic secretion. It is around 800 to 1500 ml. Then coming to the phases of secretion, the first phase is cephalic phase of the secretion. Cephalic phase means the food has not actually entered into the mouth, but you smell the food or you look at the food. What will happen? Or you think about the food. Right now also, like some amount of salivary secretions will be coming when you think about the food. That is called cephalic phase of secretion. And in the general physiology, when I gave examples for the feed-forward mechanism, cephalic phase also I said, it is a feed-forward type of mechanism. 60 to 70%, majority of the salivary secretion in a routine basis happens in the cephalic phase. So this is sight of the food or the smell of the food. And once it comes into the oral cavity, still 10 to 30% can be secreted. And even when the food reaches the gastric, then also some amount of salivary secretion is there, because just in case some regurgitation is happening and the HCl is trying to come into the mouth, still the oral cavity has to be protected with the help of saliva. That is a gastric secretion. So now how this secretion is happening is, all the glands whichever we are going to see, they will have two regions. One is the acinar regions or the glandular region, and there will be a duct region. So there will be a duct region. So the primary secretion will be done by the acinar gland and the secondary modifications will be done in the duct. So let's see for this particular salivary secretion how it happens. So it is an ultrafiltrate from the blood only. So the acinar gland will primarily produce the sodium and chloride. But as and when it travels into the duct, what is happening is there is sodium reabsorption and chloride reabsorption also. And for the chloride, the bicarbonate is exchanged. The bicarbonate is exchanged, and there is potassium secretion also. So the primary secretion is sodium and chloride. What else is getting added up during the modification? The bicarbonate as well as the potassium. And salivary secretion is one of the secretion which has the highest concentration, highest secretion of potassium happens in saliva, and sodium is the least sodium is seen in the saliva. So highest potassium and least sodium. During the exchange for chloride, the bicarbonate is being added, and bicarbonate is very important because it has to provide the alkaline environment in the oral cavity to prevent it from any regurgitation from the stomach, as well as give some neutralization also. So let's see its functions, then you'll understand things better. So first, the constituents. What is the most important constituent? So the water in the saliva will help to facilitate the taste also, the dissolution of nutrients and other enzymes, and it helps to prevent the dryness. Basically, it is like mixing the food with some kind of lubrication, we can say. And it also helps in speaking and swallow. If it is very dry, then we'll find it difficult to swallow. That is main important function of this water composition. Then the bicarbonate, I already told you, it will help to neutralize any reflex from the stomach. And mucins present, they will help in lubrication. So these are some of the constituents. It has two enzymes. One is the salivary amylase and salivary lipase. Amylases will help to digest carbohydrates. But again, carbohydrate digestion majorly does not happen here. It will happen with the pancreatic enzymes, but it starts here, we can say. Then salivary lipase will help to digest lipids. But again, here it is not the major area. It will help or begin the digestion. Then lysosomes, lactoferrins and IgA, they will provide immunity, because a lot of time we tend to eat from a lot of street food and it will have a lot of free bacteria in it. That will be stopped by this immune substances right in the saliva itself. So what are the major functions in summary? Disruption of food, formation of bolus, regulate food intake and cleansing of the mouth. Then how it is being regulated? The salivatory nucleus starts at a salivatory nucleus which is present at the level of medulla, and with the help of other higher influences like sight of the food or smell of the food, all of them, they will help to activate these areas through the autonomic centers, and as well as the pressure in the mouth. Suppose the food enters the mouth, all of them will activate the autonomic centers. Autonomic centers has two wings, one is the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Let's see what they do. The parasympathetic system releases acetylcholine and VAP. With the help of acetylcholine, it increases the enzymes. So salivary secretion is one secretion wherein both parasympathetic as well as sympathetic, both of them increase the secretion. Generally, they act in opposite wings, but here both of them increase the secretion. But the content is different. Parasympathetic will help to increase the enzymatic output and the water output, whereas sympathetic system will help to increase the protein output. Okay. First, the autonomic centers will go to the ganglion like the otic ganglion, submandibular ganglion. Then the parasympathetic system will increase the enzymatic output and water output, and the sympathetic system will increase the protein output. So this is how the saliva is being regulated. I hope it's clear. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any further doubts, do drop it in the comment section. I'll be happy to make a new video on it. Thank you so much.